All right. Okay, everybody. So let's just settle into a nice, comfortable seated posture. Try to bring your mind to the same place your body is. And just settle. So I don't know if you've all had a busy weekend. But whatever's whirling around in the mind, or maybe not whirling, just allow it to be there and then just allow it to let go. So what I mean by let go is not engaging in the story and not judging the story or criticizing yourself for even having the story. Just allow it. And just however you're turning up this evening, just know that it's totally fine. And then bring to mind all the sounds in your environment. Just allow them to be there. Just notice them and then refocus back to the mind. Try and give yourself a little bit of space in between each thought or each group of thoughts. And try and develop some awareness around what it is that's actually in the mind this evening. And just allow it to be there. And just look at it objectively. And then bring to mind all the people of your life, your loved ones, your strangers, and the ones you don't like very much, and remembering that they could all possibly change place at any time. And think they're all equal, and they have this extraordinary wish to be happy, wish to be free from suffering, and having this capacity for Buddhahood. So think there is no negativity that can't be purified. And this purification process is psychological. So we're creating negativity with our mind. So we can have control over that and create positivity instead. So we start with this power of regret. So sincerely regret from the depths of your heart anything you have done to harm any living being on this day, in this life, and in all of our past lives. And think of specific actions for both your body and your speech, and then in general, regret all. And the reason we're regretting is based on this logic of karma. We experience everything due to our past karma, our past actions. Having harmed others, we ourselves will necessarily experience suffering in the future. And we can't bear the thought of this future suffering that we will experience. And we know from our present suffering, we don't want any more. So logically, it makes sense to remove these karmic seeds before they ripen as future suffering for us. So, just imagine you pulling out the weeds in your garden. So think, I regret from the depths of my heart having harmed others with my body and my speech, having broken my vows, because I do not want the future suffering. I'm sick of suffering. And also regret any anger, attachment, and the rest of the cause of why we harm others. And then think again, I'm sick of this suffering. And then think, what can I do about it? Whom can I turn to? So here we come to the power of reliance. So we rely upon, we turn to this Buddha, Vajrasattva. Actually, I have Tara behind me this evening. Forgot to change it. Buddha Vajrasattva, who we don't see as a god or a higher power. We see Buddha Vajrasattva as, or think of Buddha Vajrasattva as like a doctor. This is what this idea of going for refuge is about. We're taking refuge in someone who's got some methods that we can use to heal ourselves. So imagine Vajrasattva on the crown of your head, made of this beautiful white, radiant light. You can also imagine he's this manifestation of the mind of your teacher, coming in this form for your benefit. Just makes it a little bit more personal for us. Because we don't have, I don't know if there's anyone of you who you might have the ability to see this Sambhavakaya aspect. So, some of these, I've heard it said that some of these lamas, when they see a statue or a tanka, they actually see the Buddha. When they see the Buddhas, when they, do their practices or when they make prayers, they can connect with them. We can't do that. So what we can do is imagine that this is the mind of our teacher manifesting for our benefit. Then it's not some kind of out there hippie trip, esoteric, weirdo thing. So just imagine Vajrasattva's there above the crown of your head, and he's sitting cross-legged on a white lotus and a moon cushion. It's a beautiful, radiant face. His eyes are long and peaceful and full of love and compassion for you and all those people of your life. And he has a sweet red mouth. His hair is black and held up in a top knot. His arms are crossed at his heart, the left underneath the right. The left is holding a bell representing wisdom, and the right is holding a vajra, which represents the indestructibility of compassion, and their being crossed represents the union of these two, and this symbolizes enlightenment, the development of infinite wisdom and infinite compassion. To the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened by this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva. May I reach Buddhahood so as to benefit all sentient beings. So we just have this little section on compassion. It's part of reliance because we're relying upon other beings to develop compassion. So we think about the beings we have harmed and then those who have harmed us. And particularly for those who have harmed us, we want to have compassion for them because the harm they've done to us is going to manifest as suffering for them sometime in the future. So for some people, when they do harm, you can see it ripens back very quickly. They might harm others, and then they become lonely or they can't get work because they're arrogant or not nice people to work with, or they're not honest. So all of a sudden you see their life is taking a downturn because they can't earn money. They don't really have friends. And then you see people who are harming people physically, once they're caught, they end up in prison. So it's not so far out to think, that it's going to come back at some point. And if you believe in this continuity of consciousness and past and future lives, then it doesn't necessarily have to come back straight away. This life can ripen at any time. So make a strong aspiration to do this practice of purification for the sake of all these beings, and think, I must purify for their sake. So now we come to the power of the remedy, and this is the medicine doing the practice of purification. And we start with the body, And Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful white nectar, like coming out of a hose, quite forcefully from his heart. And it arcs around and enters your crown and pours into your entire body, filling you completely. And it keeps pouring into you until it forces out of your lower orifices all the harm you have ever done to any living being with your body in the form of inky liquid. And this pours out of you and disappears into space, not one atom left as you recite the mantra. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dita meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa anarakta meboa sawasiti mimpiyata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha ho bhagavan sawa tatagata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra ahompe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dita meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawa siddhi mimpiyata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha ho bhagavan sawa tatagata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra ahompe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dita meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anurakta meboa sawa siddhi mimpiyata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha ho bhagavan sawa tatagata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra ahompe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dita meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anurakta meboa sawa siddhi mimpiyata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha ho bhagavan sawa tatagata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra ahompe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dita meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anurakta meboa sawa siddhi mimpiyata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha ho bhagavan sawa tatagata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra ahompe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dita meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anurakta meboa sawa siddhi mimpiyata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha ho bhagavan sawa tatagata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra ahompe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dita meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anurakta meboa sawa siddhi mimpiyata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha ho bhagavan sawa tatagata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra ahompe. So be delighted with all the harm that you've ever done to any sentient being with your body and is completely purified. And think there's no way you could do anything but benefit others now with your body. And the next is a purification of our speech. And Vajrasattva very happily sends powerful nectar from his heart chakra. And this arcs around and quite forcefully enters your crown and fills your entire body, except this time forcing up to the top of your body all the negativity of your speech. And this overflows and disappears into space, not one atom left. So just imagine all the gossip and the harsh speech and the useless speech and lying and talking badly about others behind their backs, getting others to agree with you. All of this is purified by this powerful nectar filling you as we recite the mantra. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dita meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anurakta meboa sawa siddhi mimpiyata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha ho bhagavan sawa tatagata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra ahompe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dita meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anurakta meboa sawa siddhi mimpiyata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha ho bhagavan sawa tatagata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra ahompe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dita meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anurakta meboa sawa siddhi mimpiyata sawa kama sita me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Aham Pe Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Dita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawakama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Aham Pe Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Dita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawakama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Aham Pe Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Dita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawakama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Aham Pe Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Dita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawakama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Aham Pe. So now feel so happy that your speech is completely purified, and imagine it's not possible to do anything but benefit others now with your speech. And you're benefiting yourself as well because you hear, hopefully, what you say. Next is the purification of our mind. And Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful beams of light from his heart chakra, and this arcs around and enters your crown and fills your entire being. So imagine you're in this pitch black room and you walk in, you flick on the switch, and the light that comes instantly dispels the darkness. So imagine the same here. The moment the light from Vajrasattva's heart hits your heart chakra, all the darkness of the negativity of your mind, so all your attachment and neediness, bitterness, grudges, jealousy, anxiety, depression, all of these delusions, all of it completely purified as we recite the mantra again. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawakama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawakama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawakama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawakama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawakama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawakama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta me boa sabosidi mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva hum pe. So be delighted that all your delusions, which are the source of all of our own suffering and the cause of why we harm others with our body and our speech, are completely purified, and imagine they're just gone, they're finished. And think there's no space in your heart now for anything other than love and kindness and forgiveness and wisdom and bliss and compassion. And now is the purification of even the imprints of negativity of the body, speech, and mind. And imagine Vajrasattva very happily sending light and nectar, and it fills you completely and eradicates even the subtlest imprints of negative energy from the mind as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sutukaya Meboa Supukaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Savasidi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shiyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Hum Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sutukaya Meboa Supukaya Meboa Anorakta meboa savasidi mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me sitam shiyam kuru hum ha ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva hum pe vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita dita meboa sutukaya meboa sipokaya meboa anorakta meboa savasidi mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me sitam shiyam kuru hum ha ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva hum pe vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita dita meboa sutukaya meboa sipokaya meboa anorakta meboa savasidi mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me sitam shiyam kuru hum ha ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva hum pe vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita dita meboa sutukaya meboa sipokaya meboa anorakta meboa savasidi mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me sitam shiyam kuru hum ha ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva hum pe vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita dita meboa sutukaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anorakta meboa savasidi mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me sitam shiyam kuru hum ha ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva hum pe vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita dita meboa sutukaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anorakta meboa savasidi mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me sitam shiyam kuru hum ha ho bhagavan Sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva hum pe. So now feel you're completely purified and imagine there's not one atom of negativity left in your mind stream. Even the subtlest obscurations to your enlightenment have been removed. And now the power of resolve, and this is the fourth and final step in the purification process, and it's a really crucial one, this determination to not harm with our body and our speech and our mind. And so without making some kind of a decision, we're just going to keep doing the same old stuff over and over again. Because we have this kind of habit energy to do things. And we don't even think about it. We squash that ant. We blurt that thing out. We interrupt people. We, flick away that fly. And these are all kind of unconscious, habits. But if we were to make a decision, I'm not going to harm such and such in such and such a way. And then we make a determination. This is the plan. And then the details are, okay, so I'm going to, for the next 24 hours, I'm not going to squash an ant or flick away a fly. I'm going to refrain from doing those things. So think of something easy, keep it simple, doable, and then rejoice in your efforts. Amazing. And there's quite a few of you here, but I keep hearing from people that they're doing this practice online through YouTube. So it's more than, this community is bigger than just you guys now. So it's kind of amazing. Started off with a tiny group of about 7. So I really rejoice in that, and that your efforts in coming along are inspiring others. So this determination to not do, not to harm, gives us strength to change. So Vajrasattva, imagine, is delighted with us and wanting to merge with your mind, melts into white light and absorbs into you through your crown. And think, my teacher's body, speech, and mind, and Vajrasattva's body, speech, and mind, and my own body, speech, and mind are the same. And then Rinpoche would recommend to meditate on emptiness, and he would do like this. In emptiness, there is no I, the creator of negative karma. There is no action of creating negative karma, and there is no negative karma created. So at whatever level you understand emptiness, place your mind there for a little while. We can think of all phenomena as being empty. They do not exist from their own side. And you can also think that the way things appear to me may not necessarily be the way they actually exist. So let's just dedicate all the merit, all the positive energy you've created doing this practice to all living beings, and think, may all the virtuous karma I've created from doing this practice ripen as my enlightenment for the sake of sentient beings as quickly as possible. So let's just do some verses, 3 more verses. The names of Manjushri. Samadhi, resting through great meditation, endowed with bodies flowing from great wisdom, both great in strength and great in skillful means, a brimming ocean filled with vows and knowledge. By nature great in kindness, limitless, the foremost mind enriched by great compassion, of great insight, of great intelligence, great dexterous one, with methods ever great. Commanding powers and great miracles, with driving force supreme, with speed unmatched, renowned great Lord of foremost majesty, most valorous, owing to his great might. Okay, everybody. So lovely to see you all. Thank you very much for coming.